that for the majority of the first half, it was competitive, and we did some good things, and we actually had some pretty good looks there midway through the first half, which might have made it a little bit more interesting, of course. And at the end of the day, it is one game. I'm not big in. I'm super proud about a loss, at all. But at the same time, one loss to a team that, again, potentially could make a deep run in March on the road in Knoxville shouldn't define who we are.
Mm-hmm.
And we got to respond. That's it. We talk about responses every day in life and in between the lines, and our guys have done a pretty good job of responding to adversity to this point, and I expect us to do the same. Whether that's a win or a loss, I expect us to play hard and execute. I know it'll be a great environment, and our guys are not quite right now. They're a little tired from practice today, but tomorrow they'll be ready to tip it up.
Ask you real quick about Justin Hill getting the starting lineup against Tennessee. Was that just a more scoring potential, or kind of what was the reason for that?
Searching a little bit, the best defensive backcourt in the country, in my opinion, at home. It really pressures the ball. We just decided to go with our best two handlers to give us a chance early on the road in that environment. Who knows? Who knows how we'll go tomorrow?
How does he work with Terry as far as the guard position goes, as far as the interaction, communication, and that sort of thing?
They're great. We've got really good guys. They all like playing with one another, and certain guys complement certain guys a little bit better than others. But those guys have been good at times. They finish games a bunch together, especially when leading, down the stretch, and press attack and those type things. So. And when they're out there together, sometimes Terry's at the one, sometimes Justin's at the one, depending on time and score and flow and our matchup.
When you're preparing to play a player like GG, can you sense any extra focus from your guys in practice, understanding the challenge that's ahead of them?
Yeah, but that's, for the most part, that's throughout our league. We had a bunch of guys that had our guys' attention as we're watching individual clips, personnel clips, heading into Knoxville. And same thing with the Gamecocks. It's not only GG, it's Hayden Brown's a really good player, right? And you got Michi Johnson, Chico Carter, two of the best shooters in our league. They complement each other well. We just talked about that. You've got a guy that can isolate you from the elbows and on the post, on the extended post, and pick and pop. And they're good in transition, and you've got two guys that can spread you to 25 feet defensively. So this is a team, as we know, that went into Rep Arena and won. That's really all you need to know. They're very, very dangerous.
With GG specifically, what stands out about his game?
Versatility. His ability to create his own shot in so many different ways. He's a unique player. And also at his size. There's a bunch of 6'5" guys that can do what he can do, but not at his size and length, especially at his age. He is a talent, as we all know.
How much have you guys talked about getting back to that defensive intensity that you spoke about that maybe kind of lacked a little bit?
A ton. It lacked in the second half at Rupp. You're on the road at Kentucky. I'm going back 3 games now, right? 2.5 games. And 20,000 is a part of that, giving up a lead. And we didn't respond like we're talking about needing to do tomorrow in that next one defensively as much as we needed to against Vanderbilt. Vanderbilt was analytically our best offensive game of the season. Defensively was one of our worst few. And at home, there's no excuse for that. We don't need it to be one of our best. I'd like for it to be. It'd be bonus offensive performances the year tomorrow. But what's easier for us to control is our intensity and our effort and our energy and being in a stance and communicating and sprinting around, just playing really, really hard. And we've got to do it. We've done that at home 95% of the time. And that's why we've had some success at home. And that's where it's got to start tomorrow. Hopefully we make shots, get into an offensive rhythm, but the things that we can control, we got to get back to doing a better job of controlling. In Knoxville, I thought we were in a stance. I thought we were fighting through some screens. We got some stops early. When it got away from us, were we quite as sharp? No, but we are human too.
Yeah. Is that one of the things that should be easier to flip the switch on? The effort and intensity and all that.
Absolutely, absolutely. And we're coming off a couple L's here, and so it might sound odd to me for me to toot our horn here in terms of this team and what they've accomplished, but we're the most improved defensive team in the country. Like these guys have laid it down every day on the court between the lines and left a lot of energy and intensity, sweat on that court. I mean, they've worked hard to become a pretty good defensive team. We happen to be in a league where almost everybody's elite, you know. But our defensive numbers were upper half of our league there until recently. And we're fighting to, to respond to some deficiencies and get back to some field goal percentage defensive performances, some turnover forcing performances that we've seen from this group in the past.
What has it been like to see the success Dusty's had at FAU?
Oh, incredible. So much fun. And he's got a great AD. Those guys are family. I mean, his whole staff I'm very, very close with. And Brian, obviously, my brother, who I admire greatly, who's a heck of a hire. Dusty's like a brother. You know, we talk every day, and we had a fun ride together. And I learned, he was my assistant coach. I learned a lot from him. You know, I'm learning from these assistant coaches too. We're all learning from one another. And he's a great basketball mind. He's a relentless 18-hour-a-day worker. He is addicted to basketball, but he's a better human being. So huge FAU Owl fan right now. Burrow on.